everyone has a story to tell. And I guess what I would call challenging times, having all my kids at an early age and raising them in an abandoned home and feeding them from a dumpster in the alley. I mean, I guess those hard times when I was able to pull myself up by my bootstraps, so to speak, that I just believed that others could do the same. So I think that kind of led me to my journey of helping others and knowing that there were others out there that were going to some of the same things, that I could actually help them do that. Every Wednesday, he would go and see these group of men. And these are men that some of them work for a company called Fast Flyers, where they would pass out flyers about sales and for supermarkets and so forth. So they were living and I decided to go one day with my husband. Well, when I walked in there, I was like, they cannot live here. This is terrible. I mean, holes in the wall, but because of their low self-esteem and because they weren't making much money, they just believed this is the best they could do. When I got home that evening, I told my husband, let's find him another place to live. And so we started looking. And I said, they cannot continue to live in that dump. Holes in the wall. Plumbing was always backed up. My husband was taking money out of his pocket, trying to help keep things together. I said, there has to be a better place for them to live. So I just happened to be in a car wash when I looked up on the bulletin board where those were allowed to put their business cards, and I saw this lady's picture that said housing management. And I knew her from years and years ago. So I go home and I call her up. Then I said, I have these guys. Do you have any place they can live? Are you still managing houses? She said, yes. So what I did is, she said, well, I have this place. It's a 2-family. It's an upper and a downer. And a guy that owns it lives in New York. And you could come look at it. These are a little fixing up, but you could come look at it. So I called the guys up. And I said, we're going to look at this place. You guys may like it. Boy, when we met her over there, their eyes lit up like, we can live in this place? And I'm like, yes, you can. And before you know it, they had a very decent place to live. People are totally shocked. So you could walk in there and eat off the floor. That's how clean they keep it. And a couple of them were from jail, out of prison. One of them is actually, we kind of made him our director. He is so good at it. You have a couple of them that went through rehab. We have some of them that were homeless, now have a home. So they all work together. They have a Bible class every Wednesday from 7 to 8. When they first moved in, no one had a car. There are now 3 cars there. Half of them are not working. All of them pay their own rent. They never missed a month in paying their rent. And they've been there 3 years this March. And I learned so much from the center and how to write grants and do all these different things. And that's how I became involved with the center. And I was really blessed to receive this gentleman. Actually, this gentleman was in an event that Bob had, and with the 776. I was there with Bob and on the stage, and each of us only had maybe 5 minutes to tell our story. And the gentleman was in the audience. He heard me speak, and he called me up, and he was with Microsoft, and he said, you know, I really like what you had to say. Could you tell me about yourself and blah, blah. We became friends, and he got his company to donate each of the guys a brand new laptop with all the accessories, the bags and everything. Now, they've never used a computer. So I found a gentleman to teach them computers. They're in their 3rd class. They have 2 more to go. And just to look at them sitting there, just so excited, you know, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to see that happen with them. You know, they like, I can do this. Oh, yes, you can. And you'll be able to email me. And, you know, they're just excited about it. My husband and I always talk. He said, "Dog, Toni, if you only had a big building, if you only had a building to take everyone off the street, if you only had the resources and the people to help you, if you could only pay somebody to come in and do if you could replicate what you're doing now, do you realize?" Because the program is called Each One Reach One, okay? And each of the guys reach a person that is going through the same thing. And if you were able to replicate that in such a large manner, just think, Toni, how many people you would touch and give them an opportunity to move their lives forward. If I had resources, I would purchase a building. I would look at have the people that live there, the guys that are there, just continue to reach people, to continue to reach people, you know, and bring them in where they would feel good start feeling good about themselves. Because when a person feels good about themselves, they begin to change. The dynamics around them begin to change.